Hey, what's up? This is DJ Sneak from Chicago and Glasgow. For the last few years, my journey's been to bring house music back to at least a normal level where it was before. You know, I mean, at least for somebody like myself and consider old school now. You know, people just need vocals and bass lines and hooks and things that remind them of a song. You know, I mean, not to put any music down, but you can't have something stick to your head. It's just a beat. You know, I mean, it's got to have something to it. And I think that is what the older music brings to it now. You know, it's like when I'll play a remix of something that was hot back in the day, people, especially the girls, and that's the key. It's always you get the women involved, they get the rest of the party going. You know, and girls, because even my own wife, you know, she's 29, you know, and she's like, I remember this song you used to play. I remember this song you used to play. So I started picking those songs and putting them back into burning them down to CD and then having them. So whenever she came out with me as well, I can play stuff and be like, that was for you. And you know, it just kept going and going, and like that's actually brought more people back to it. I think, you know, I mean, I'm still playing good stuff. I'm still playing like newer music that I'm finding while I travel as well. There's a lot of new kids that are doing really incredible stuff, you know what I mean? But I'm sort of being drawn more to the older music. The back in the box is usually one mix CD and one compile CD of all the tracks. And Nick from NRK, he's like, hey, would you do the whole thing mix? And I was like, sure. And I'm telling you, it was kind of a no-brainer. You know, something like once I started doing it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember doing this, and I remember doing that to that, and it just kind of came out, man, like the way I would do it, you know. So like an old chef, you know, once you learn how to do stuff, you just do it over and over. So it was a good feeling making it, you know, like it not only represents that era, but it represents me in that era, which is even makes it better, you know. I actually like the concept because I feel like, you know, now I'm 38 years old, and when that music came out was maybe 10 years ago, and that generation's kind of grown and got married and got kids and all that stuff. So sort of like it's a nice gift for the old school people, and then it's a kind of like reintroduction for the new generation, you know. And I was quite keen on doing it actually, because I've been playing the last year and a half. I've been playing a lot of old school stuff, you know, or at least what people remember me by in the early 90s or whatever, into the 90s and 2000 and stuff, you know. studios and engineers, and it came out on vinyl. I mean, it's a different story now than what it was, a while back. But it does sound refreshing. Like I've listened to it over and over after I've done it a few times, and I just don't get tired of it. And so far, the people that I've given a CD and be like, listen to this. My missus, in the car should be like, oh, I love this song, and I love this song, and I love this song, so that's a good sign usually. That was actually kind of like a no-brainer, man. That was kind of like I don't know, that was kind of like grabbing an old record box and going through my records and sticking records in there that I was going to play maybe a set that night somewhere, It was sort of like that, I mean, plus that music is years that, really represent a lot of my own style of music. So it was quite easy, actually, man. I don't use computer tricks, and I don't record and do all the stuff. I go live. People know me by being live, whether festival or a club or whatever. So I didn't want to use no tricks. I wanted to just be like, yeah, I picked this up and put it on, and it sounded good, and that's it. No tricks. Just kind of like the old ways. I mean, if we were back in the day, 10 years ago, I'd be using vinyl to mix a CD.